Welcome back to Nobby on Cars. Hope you're doing well today. This is the new Kia Niro. The e-Niro name is gone. This is the plug-in hybrid version of it. Kia say it will do just over 60 kilometers. I say about 57. But you know what? They're pretty reliable in terms of their ranges. So as long as you don't take this onto a motorway, you should get over 50 kilometers on your commute. I was lucky enough to check out this car a couple of months ago on the channel in Oslo. So today we're on an Irish car, right-hand drive, Irish plates, and we're in Dublin, the middle of Dublin, down at Poolbeg, having a little look around the car today. So the boot is still the boot. The interior is still the very premium interior. The K3 version of the car is now €38,500. If you spend £3,000 more, you get a K4, and that has a head-up display. It's got heated seats in the back. It's got air-cooled seats, which are delicious. But there's lots of things that the K3 has as standard as well, such as the 18-inch alloy wheels. You still get the boot spoiler. You don't get the fall leather. We just call it fake leather. There's a lot of sustainability that has gone into the interior of this car. We'll cover that in a second. Kia are very kind of keen to, there's no point making greener cars if you're not actually going to put your money where the mouth is in terms of the interior. And actually, they've done a pretty good job of keeping it fairly premium inside, despite being sustainable. This is a CUV segment vehicle, and they're very keen to make sure it stands out because they're aware that it's quite a crowded space. So the Niro certainly isn't as round and as cuddly looking as the last model, that's for sure. There's a bit more of a square stance to it, more of a straight line across the roof, and this sharp curve at the back as well is quite different. Sometimes the back of it reminds me of the Focus from previous generations gone by. You know, it's a PHEV version because it says so. There's a bit of different colouring going on here. It's a little bit more subtle in the darker colours, but to be honest with you, I think darker compared to the test vehicle we had a few months ago is better looking. Huge big spoiler. K4 models get an electrically adjustable boot, which is 451 litres. Believe it or not, but the full electric version of the car is actually 470 plus. There's a little droppable shelf. You can store cables and bags and other things down here. There's a tire mobility kit in there. The seat split is 60-40. Makes life easier, and there's hooks for shopping and all the kind of things you'd want in a family car. So, pretty good job. Decent enough boot. Plenty of space back here. They're big on the recycled materials used in the roof. It's recycled, okay? Sorry. There is an armrest, very handy. There's a plug down here, although this one is a 2-pin European plug, so you'll need an adapter for that. Unless, yeah. USB charging ports at the back here. These things pop out, they don't charge you extra. There's funky looking headrests. And all in all, it's a grand place to sit. There's support for the thighs. There's a nice balance of places to stick your feet under the seats. And in K4 models, you will get heated seats. In which case, this is on. It feels very weird in July. Also, like, it's a brand new car. There was 70 kilometers on it when I picked it up, and now I've put sand all over the floor and I feel terrible. Sorry, Kia. Again, more sustainability's going on. These seats feel very, very comfortable and really good quality. I'm not quite sure what they make them from these days, but they are good. There's little dividers in the armrests. So again, there's kind of a bang of just simply clever Skodiness off that. Plenty of adjustability in your driver's seat, depending on how close you like to sit to it. Air-cooled seats in the K4 model. Oh my God. On a day like today, they're absolutely gorgeous. You've got funky cup holders that will wrap around your drink. You've got wireless charging. There's 12 volt, there's USB-C, there's USB. The charging for your phone is actually much faster than the previous generation. They've put a lot more voltage into that, so that's good. Still have the 2 toggle between the climate control and your media settings. This is, again, really good quality material. You don't feel like they've tried to skimp by being sustainable, because I'm finding a lot of brands, some of them anyway, they're like, oh, this is not a leatherette style holder anymore for your manual, so you get this like cardboard thing, but they're not putting that price reduction into the car, are they? Displays are perfect, loads of stuff going on. K4 model doesn't have the side camera when you put on an indicator. Might have expected that. You can set up your charging to come on in the morning and be nice and toasty in the winter time. The Kia Connect app is just brilliant. So you can put in an area around, let's say, a school, and as long as you have enough range in your car, it will switch to EV only mode in that geo-locked space. That's brilliant, like. So if you get one of these, make sure you get connected with the app and use it. They call it drive-by-wire, fly-by-wire jog wheel thing on the K4 model of it. Very easy to use. You also get heated seats as well as a heated steering wheel. Everything's easy to use. I have no complaints. I haven't mentioned it just yet, but the petrol side of this car is a 1.6, and then when you have the two combined, you've got a punchy enough 180 odd brake horsepower car. So because you have that additional bit of torque from the battery, it's always quite punchy. If you give it a bit of a floor, you're not wanting for power. It is front wheel drive. I haven't noticed any sort of torque steer. Previous model e-Niro did have a good bit of that. Obviously this isn't the full electric version, so I'll report back to you on that one when I have the electric one on the channel as soon as they land in Ireland. If you run it with a charged battery, you will get a range of anywhere between sort of 2 litres and 4 litres per 100 kilometres. Pretty efficient. Obviously you can drive it in full EV mode as well. Head-up display in the K4, I really like it. You're going to get it as part of the package. Might be something you'd spec anyway. I love the way it gives you fully surrounded blind spot warnings. It's flickering there a little bit, but I'll give you a better look of it on the motorway now as well. So I think it's a great feature to have. You mightn't spec it on its own, all right, because it probably feels like a luxury item to a lot of people. You do feel the weight of the car going around corners and coming into bends as well. There's, you do feel the extra weight of the battery. So there's no point buying this car if you're not going to charge it. If you don't want to charge it, then maybe the car isn't for you. Also, the fact that, you could wait for the full EV version of it, but it's going to cost a little bit more. They've added extra insulation. I think it's fair to say you can tell. It's quite hard to the outside world at all, actually. There's cars going by here. Very faint noise of them. That's particularly important to Kia, obviously, with the full electric version of the car, but very, very quiet. Not overly harsh in terms of suspension setup, but definitely that feeling of it going a little bit wide as you come into a corner with the extra weight. That is noticeable. Blind spot, very welcome. Frontal collision avoidance also included in the car. You can lock the rear child doors by just pressing a button here. There's no more messing around with the little nib on the back of the seat, so that's very family friendly. There's a mode button on the steering wheel. It's sport. That will use more of the petrol engine. There's a lot more urgency to the car then. But there's no normal mode. It's just sport and eco. The lane keep assist, as always, drives me bonkers because it beeps just way too much. It'd be great if you could reduce that to even not a beep, maybe just a vibration through the steering wheel. That would be an improvement. Or just stay between the lines. Yeah, I know, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Main thing compared to the previous model is exterior looks. Do you like it? Do you prefer it? I think the inside is definitely an upgrade. I mean, you could sometimes have your eyes half open and you could be sitting in an EV6 with this interior. Same steering wheel, lots of similarities, and enough sharp edges. If that's kind of now, actually, the EV6 is nearly the smoother looking car, where it was the e-Niro with the last model. So let me know what you think. Have you had the previous generation? How did that work out for you? Would you jump straight into this new model? Do you think the design is quite different now to the past, and for that reason you'd be out? I think the EV6 is such a good car. It's going to be tempting with the price just being a little bit close. Obviously a jump of 12 grand if you're going for the entry level K3, fair enough. But when you start getting into K4 and this, and if you're getting into the electric version of it, then it's getting a little bit too close for comfort compared to the EV6 for me, which has the faster charging, bigger battery, more sleek looking design. But really, as a step up from the last Niro, there's not too much to fault with this. It's kind of funny because where I wrapped up the last video with the e-Niro was at a big ski slope in Oslo, and there was solar and electric everywhere, and there's two big chimneys built in the 1970s that up to recently pumped out a lot of smoke. But anyway, here we are. The Niro is here on Irish soil. It's out now, the electric version. They say September. I'd give it a few weeks because of production issues, delays. But I did see a load of these cars down in Dublin Port a few weeks ago. In fact, I put it on my TikTok account. If you want to go follow that, just follow me everywhere. I think the K3 version is pretty well priced. I think the electric version is actually quite close to the EV6. There's still like going to be maybe £5,000, but it's close. And I think the EV6 is the better looking car. But this has been a really big seller for Kia, the Niro, the e-Niro. So I'd imagine people are still going to like this one. Price not massively different. The battery range in the plug-in hybrid and the BEV has not changed much. It's still low 60 kilowatt hour battery in the electric version. Kia saying they're not actually sure of why. They just reckon maybe Kia decided, they decided that that kind of range, late 400s, was enough for most people's needs. Whatever it is, the Niro's here. And I hope you've enjoyed this little look around it in sunny old Dublin. Thank you very much for watching. If you've got any comments or questions, please do leave them down below. And will you just subscribe if you haven't yet? We're heading for 30,000 subscribers. We are the second biggest YouTube channel in Ireland. Thank you very much for helping that happen. And I'll see you in the next one.